Making your own fresh homemade sausages is an absolute joy. The flavour and texture and varieties that you can make yourself just opens a whole world of wonderful gourmet sausages. It's very simple to make homemade sausages. You just need to begin with the sausage stuffing tubes. There's the large or the small, and of course you need the food grinder. So grind up the combinations of what you would like. Chicken with fresh herbs, you could do prawn and seafood, beef and veal, pork and chicken, all sorts of spices and flavourings and textures. It really is up to you. Now, to make your sausages, when you grind the meat, you need to decide whether you'd like the meat to be coarser or finer in consistency. And in the food grinder, there are two different grinding plates. This is the coarse one and this is the fine one, and it does change the texture of your end sausage. For the full recipe, by the way, it's on the KitchenAid website. We're going to put together some lovely pork and prune sausages, and the prune just gives a little bit of extra texture. With the food grinder, you need to leave the auger or the worm in the actual grinder. You don't need this cross blade. For the sausages, you need this piece, which simply clips in like so. I'm going to use the fatter tube. Pop that on like so, secure it, and it's simply a matter of putting it onto the stand mixer. Give it a wiggle till it locks into place. Secure that little thumb screw, and we're ready to go. Now, sausage skins. At your butcher, you'll find that there are a variety that are available. There's a collagen-based sausage skin, like this, and there's a natural sausage skin. Now, the natural skins, the best way to store them is actually in salted water. Ask your butcher to clean them because they do become gritty. So ask them to be cleaned. Store them in salted water until you want to use them. With the collagen-based skin, it's very important that you don't get that too wet because it will disintegrate and start to rip. The natural skins, they actually need to stay wet. I find that they actually have quite a bit of pull and quite a bit of texture to them, whereas the collagen-based sausage skins, they're a little bit more rigid. To begin, I'm going to take this natural skin and feed it onto the sausage tube. And just patiently feed it along the tube, and I'm lightly and gently centering that so it goes on quite smoothly for me. There we are, and I'm leaving a little bit at the end. Now, this is your choice here. Some people like to actually tie a little knot in the end, but I find if you do that, it traps in the air and I find it more difficult to fill the sausage. So I like to just leave a little bit undone, just like that. Earlier on, we ground up our beautiful sausage mixture, and now I need a second pair of hands. You can make sausages on your own, but it is great if you've got another set of hands with you. Hi, Kelly.
Hello.
So call in the kids, call in maybe your partner, your next door neighbour, and have some fun. Very simply, I like to have some water beside so you can rinse and clean your hands. I also like to use the bench when you make sausages, so do make sure it's clean, and nice clean cloths as well. The meat mixture, the best idea is to form it into little links, kind of like that, yeah? And pop it straight into the grinder. Now, the texture of the meat, I know I talked a little bit about that. It's essential when you make sausages that you have lean meat and a little bit of natural fat. These are pork sausages, so we've used some pork actually from the leg and also some pork belly. Now don't be too concerned about the fat in the sausage, because at the end of the recipe, or at the end of the segment, I'm going to tell you how to cook the sausages and remove that excess fat. But I will tell you it's essential to the texture and the flavour. So your job, Kelly, is to drop that in like that. This is a pusher that you need to push the meat down in, and I'm going to form the sausage. You can work on speed 2, 4, 6 or 8. It's up to you and the speed that you want to work at. So we'll turn this on. And pushing that meat down. Now my job is to form the sausage. And I suppose you could say it's a little bit like knitting. It's all about the tension. So what I've got to do, I'm just going to get myself organised here. I've just turned that down. I need a little bit more on the end. There we go. And I'm going to push it back along until I get the shape that I want. Now I'm good to go. Now if the sausage fills with air, you just sort of have a feel around to get that air out, because when you cook your sausage, the air will expand and it will split or pop the skin. How you going, Kel? So there we go. Now what I like about the natural skin is you can see that we can actually form quite a large shaped sausage. And if I'm running out of end, hang on, Kel, I just need to work backwards here. It's all right. I can pull it back just like that. There we go. Leaving that end, moving it backward and forward. If it does fill up on the end again, I'll just take it out. Oops. There we go. And this is why a second pair of hands is great, because I'm doing this part, you're busy doing your part. I have made them on my own many times. Push that back along until it's a nice shape. I've caught up now. Now for some of you, you might like to make your links during this part of the stuffing, but I actually find it easier to do at the end. I think we're about right, Kelly. We'll turn that off. So what I was saying, if you'd like to, during the stuffing, you can form the links, but I like to take that off, pop it down on the bench. I won't wash my hands just yet because I'm still going. There's the sausage. Now if you want to, you can actually have a huge long link, but I think initially keep it in a nice, workable size, and measuring like so. So your links are reasonable. Oh, we've got a little on the end. That's okay, like that. So I'm going to twist this one way, twist this one the other way so they don't unravel as they're cooking. And we've got a little cheeky one on the end, but that's all right. So that's the basis of beautiful homemade sausages. To cook the sausages, my technique is to place them into a saucepan and fill with water, bring them to a gentle boil, and then let them sit in the water for a few minutes. That's called parboiling. It's actually a very old-fashioned technique, but it's fantastic to set the sausage. That also removes a lot of the excess fat. You then drain them. You're ready to barbecue, pan fry, or grill. You won't burn them, there'll be no charring, and they'll have a lovely, soft, beautiful, juicy flavour. Pricking sausages is an absolute no-no, complete no-no. It will cause them to split and you will get a bit of a mess, so you don't do that. Last but not least, I think there's a little bit left in there if we're lucky, a skinless sausage. Okay. Maybe you don't want to use the skin. So there you are. They are little, but they're there. They're great for little breakfast sausages if you like. So that's a skinless sausage. You're ready to go. So remember, vary the flavour and textures of the meat. It helps if the meat's very chilled. That actually helps the sausages form very well. Lots of lovely flavouring, all sorts of herbs and spices and textures. You have casing options from the collagen casing to a natural casing. Make your sausages, par-cook them. After that stage, I like to freeze them. With a fresh sausage, I would use it definitely on that day or refrigerate on the next day. Don't keep them for too long, quite simply because there's no preservatives, there's no additives, there's no fillers. You know exactly what's in them. So sausage making, I think it's fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The full recipe, you'll find it available on the KitchenAid website.